different, like movement or a different way of engaging the combination, of course, between them. So there's a big movement right now in research as a whole, especially arts-based research, and ditching the method, ditching the predetermined method for approaching a problem in the world. It's wild to think that each and every situation that it's sort of like the name it, frame it, name it, claim it, frame it. So we start out thinking that we're going to look at improv, but maybe it takes us somewhere else. But if we're hardcore connected to a research proposal that says we're going to use improv, we'll just use improv, or we'll be focused in on using improv. This idea of rejecting methodology as a whole, it gets really back to what we're doing in expressive arts. We don't know what we're going to create. We don't know where this journey is going to take us. We need to be attentive to how we're working, but we don't really know what we're going to do in the future, but we're going to do something. It's going to be creative. It's going to be immersive. So we take into account an aesthetic field as opposed to a singular aesthetic direction. So we end up with weird stuff like the birth of Jesus. We don't know what he's going to look like. We don't know where it's going to happen. We don't know what it's going to mean, but it's going to mean something. It's going to do something. But if those two people met, we can't predict that in advance what's going to happen in that situation. So the transmediated realm, we're always going to be looking at it as being tied to an object. It's going to be Winnicottian, and it's going to be 1 and 1 equals 3. It's going to be that unknown magical space that expressive arts therapy takes us to, where our research should take us to. And it's not a place that we can plan for. It's a readiness that we can make for what's the emergent. So in this one here, I said it before, the charcoal figure that starts arguing with the client, and the conversation shifts to that figure. So we end up with these really weird things where we end up with agency, with items, with things, where trees are important enough to be part of that conversation. There's an agential relationship with the items. And the improvised song, I'm saying, with the Quebec traditional music that I've been so interested in, each and every performance ends up generating something new and unpredicted. If somebody said we're going to go into that garage and play music and try to get something to be magic, you wouldn't be able to reproduce it by technique. That can only happen by abandoning the style, abandoning the intention to move from one place to another. And it's in creating that that we have the potential for the third. Post-qualitative research, post-human research, some of the radical edges of feminist research, some of the things that post-colonial indigenous research has been yelling at this for generations. So the exec encounter is carried into the art. Images, sounds, movements, scenes return as a third presence, potentiality, that co-shapes what can happen next. So it's not us driving it from the edges about how things are going to proceed, as being ready for what comes next. Coming next is the readiness. So the emergent aesthetic feel.
So, Richard, you would say that with this transmediated realm, the theory about the third would go well with.
Absolutely. This is where the third. This is the theory behind the third.
Okay.
This is why Winnicott sits at the front of what I'm doing. This is why Winnicott is collaboration, because Winnicott sets the frame for the third. The third gets birthed into the community art, right? This is where we start to create critical mass for social change. We're not just sitting in a therapy room. We're
Yes.
doing art in the streets, and that's where magic happens. That person I keep talking about, Mary Reich, who did the dance with us and the throwing in the yoga block, she sent us out in the streets. We're doing movement in back alleys and playing music in back alleys is about just connecting with the community that's quite marginalized.